Right, so this is the January 8th meeting of the Wolcott Town Forest Stewardship Committee, and I'm calling the meeting to order at 6:45 due to delays getting started. So we're here at 6:45, and I'm going to pull up the agenda and also last month's meeting minutes to have them as a visual reference for myself. So, let's see, on our agenda tonight, we've got approving the minutes, public comment, trail building update, maintenance update, forest management update, FY26 budget, and new business. So we can run through that. Is the things that I have in mind, I think I'll fit into the existing agenda items. So I don't have any amendments to the agenda. Anything from anybody else?
Yeah, just information about posting for hunting seasons.
Great. Let's put that under forest management update and come to it. Or it could be maintenance update as well. So that will be good to cover. All right. Then no other amendments. We have this great agenda actually that accommodates all the things we need to talk about. So minutes from the last meeting.
They came late. I apologize for that. I have no
It happens.
It didn't happen until it happened. That was the day. So apologies.
Okay, so as I look over from the last month, we might need to talk about trail maps. I guess that fits under maintenance as well. Gives follow-up, road crossing signs. These these correspond to what I remember.
Yep.
Right. So motion to approve the minutes from the prior meeting.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. That's approved. So, maintenance update. Well, that's a good place to talk about what you find from the game warden.
Yep. Well, I just happened to email Andrew Shortsleeve today, and she was in a meeting with the commissioner of Fish and Wildlife and the colonel, who I believe is the head of the game wardens. She just referred to him as colonel, and she just floated it right to them while she was with them. And she said was,
Andrew Shortsleeve is a game warden, or
no, she's a wildlife biologist. She was the one, she did a couple, she did a walk with us.
Mm-hmm.
She was the one that came to a couple meetings, did a walk. I got in touch with her in the beginning of the process. And she's kind of been, I've been keeping her up to date on things, and she was actually the interim commissioner for most of last year. But now they have an established commissioner now. And I think she's back to just being a wildlife biologist, not totally sure, but anyways, I just we got a report, so I went right to her with it.
Mhm.
And so she said, the colonel said that you can legally post just a portion of your property, so there is that option.
Mhm.
And then there's the safety zone, the legal safety zone of 500 feet around the school. There's no other specific distance from a school. I thought there was maybe 1,000 foot distance around all schools, like no matter
Well,
what.
so there's federal regulation and state regulation that might be what we're bumping into here, because they could be speaking about state regulation.
Maybe, because all she said was the 500 foot legal safety zone.
Mhm.
She said, but there's no other specific distance from school. But yeah, we could maybe look into that. I would think that they would have brought that up, but maybe they're only state, maybe they're just totally
They
state.
may not be
focused, so-
familiar with the school statutes. Because with the school, the 1,000 foot rule is more to do with like prevention of violent crime. So it might not necessarily fall under the umbrella of attention of the game warden normally, right?
Yeah.
Because the different area of law enforcement.
True. Like, okay,
But I don't know.
so that could be a follow-up. Something like. Probably a quick Google search, but.
Yeah.
Runs on.
On it. Yeah. Needs to know about federal regulation of firearms in vicinity of public schools. So what's this? Okay, so the Gun-Free School Zone Act of 1990 defines a school zone as distance of 1,000 feet from the boundary of any school grounds. It makes it a federal crime to knowingly possess a firearm at a place that the individual knows or has reasonable cause to believe it is a school zone. And to discharge a firearm in a school zone with reckless disregard for the safety of another. Key exceptions. So state issued licenses. Locked and unloaded. If you're on private property that is not part of the school grounds. If you're in official capacity or school approved programs. So
Property, not school grounds is. Municipal property different than private property.
I mean, that is exactly it. That's that, and so that's the thing that Kate Warner alerted us to, that was private property until they turned it over to us.
Yep, okay.
So technically, it's a federal crime to possess a firearm within the 1,000 foot zone, unless you have a state issued license to carry the firearm. I have no idea. No idea if the hunter's license counts.
They're probably talking about law enforcement.
Yeah.
Mhm. So it's firearms, it's not, there's other ways to hunt, obviously archery, but as far as that goes, school zone,
1,000 feet from the school property.
school property, which does have its own property line, right? I mean, it's still delineated separate from the,
Yes.
as all. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty straightforward. And that's firearm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if signage. So that just exists. Obviously, the school has never put up their own signs. But I guess, right, it's been private before, but. Okay, well anyways. Okay. so there is this posting, so I thought it was all or nothing, you post your entire property or nothing at all, but that is where I learned. You can post just a portion of a property, and so that was news to me, so that makes it so we could just figure out where we can legally post just a portion of it if you mark it correctly, which is every 200 feet or less. If signs every year, just the normal postings thing, but you can do it in just a portion of the property. So then it's, I guess, just up to us where we put them. It could just be that 1,000 feet, or it could be more than that. Obviously, I don't know. I guess we're the committee members, so it's the task with figuring that out.
I have everything I need to put the signs up, but yeah. I haven't actually even bothered maintaining them this year, kind of a little bit like.
I think a lot of people do that.
I mostly just have them there to remind me where the property line is. I didn't pay the fee.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's still visual, kind of. Most people see that. They're not gonna check the town forest or the town here, the town office, and be like, well, did he actually? Yeah. But we would have to do it right.
Yeah, but it's everything.
Yeah.
All I need is a map. Tell me where the line is.
That map that, it's either Sinuosity or TPL
TPL.
provided, they had the safety zone on there.
Yep.
Is that accurate?
I think it is. I'm pretty sure we put it in the stewardship plan itself. And so basically we said that hunting was prohibited in the area to the east of Gates Farm Road. And we chose that because it was easily defined. It was, we could say those words and pretty much everybody can tell exactly what we're talking about. So then the question is, do we post it so that people who don't read the stewardship plan actually know not to go out there and hunt? And that's what Ryan is interested in particular. And so
Technically, it doesn't hold any weight unless you post it like it stipulates. Because legally, even if it's posted, but you haven't done the every 200 feet, it doesn't, it's not enforceable.
right.
So
On the other hand, somebody could be chasing a deer through there with their rifle, and all of a sudden they're committing a federal crime because they're within 1,000 feet of the school, and it'd be nice to let them know before they do that.
It's a long track. It'll make it's a little bit of a morning. You got a few hills. You got the hillside you go up and down. But it's just a day of counting your paces and.
It can happen anytime between now and
Just having the correct map or the boundary line that we want to post loaded. And it can be done. I think it's just a matter of a good solid estimate.
are you talking about like 1,000 feet or?
I was just thinking the yellow line so that it syncs with the published map.
Yeah.
Because this is what's on the town website, right?
Is it? Yeah, okay.
So for all intents and purposes, that's the line right now.
Okay.
We want to change it at some future date. That's always a possibility, but I think right now just satisfying and being consistent is probably the order du jour.
And it's, if anyone, technically someone can ask for permission, but I wouldn't see why. If you shoot a deer somewhere else that runs into that property and dies, then they have to get permission from us to be able to recover it, I believe.
We can put a contact phone number on
Yeah.
the side. And it's one of those things too, it's there's a certain level of discretion, like if someone is tracking a deer that was shot on a property and that wanders onto the property and they are forthright with their case or whatever, I think the town has has the ultimate decision if they want to press charges or not, I would imagine.
I mean,
What are the
I don't want,
we're a small town. I think what we want to do is minimize the amount of the rules so that we minimize the amount of discussion around which rules get broken.
I don't feel like, you just inform them and no one's gonna be walking the woods. Chances are no one's gonna know if they're in there anyway.
Traditional yellow posted signs do say no trespassing, so we don't want that.
No,
No hunting signs.
We just want, okay, right, we need signs that say.
No hunting, safety zone, no hunting.
and we can. Yeah, just remind that it's in proximity of a school. Right. I think those are the important things to announce there. Like, even if we allow hunting in the other part of the park, it's like that zone, like putting those signs up just needs to be done.
How do I get to the town forest stuff on the town website?
You just go to government and then committees.
Government and committee.
That's.
Okay. There's the forest trail map. That's sweet. And this is one from Kate.
I guess we'll have to put the town office phone number out there. I don't. Need to be calling any of us. Sure.
I still have Linda.
We're passing it to you. Yeah, I'll do a mock-up for a sign.
Is that something you would get if you get printed?
Yeah, you can, it's pretty easy to order.
Yeah.
Those kinds of signs, it's just, it's cheaper if you order a stack of them as opposed to like 10 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think probably the next thing in terms of the tool to get them posted is if we can get this gold line that's on the town map into like an Avenza map, a map that's loaded in Avenza, and just do our best to approximate just inside the line. We were not crossing onto private property by accident. And then we just hang, look at the bit on and just count out X number of bases and then put the next sign up.
The day of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I'm looking at this, so 1,000 feet is less than a quarter mile. A fair portion of where the trails are within a quarter mile of the school. Well, the portion, the main walking trails, but eyeballing this, I'd say realistically, we only would need to enforce the federal regulation on about half of the space. And it was the thing that somebody brought up when we were discussing and purchasing this. There are people that have regularly hunted in the upper reaches of the Bedell parcel. So
Yeah, I would be, more conservative myself with it too, more just kind of 1,000 feet or where a trail might get out of that zone a little bit. I think, I do think it would be sort of maybe a little aggressive to post that whole area just based on multi-use nature of being a town forest in an area that has had traditional hunting. That could ruffle some feathers. I think we should probably I'd be more into the idea of just 1,000 feet. And see what that radius looks like. And then, if there's some parts of the trail that we're like, we should keep people away from that, part of the trail. that, but yeah, I don't know if necessarily the whole entire perimeter would be necessary.
So we'd probably have to update our stewardship plan, I believe, double check to see that the language is in there. Which would, I think, just require a stamp from the select board. You know, I don't know that, and tell me if differently, but I don't think the easement holders need to approve every update to the stewardship plan. Not just.
Just trails for sure.
But, I mean, what I could do is just, you know, just, I believe I have the correct tool where I can just, set the scale and then just trace the school border and see what the actual, you know, quarter-mile measurement is, which is like way more than 1,000 feet, you know, that's like no,
Yeah, I mean, you could probably do it if you've got the.
and then, and find a pretty adequate, yeah, approximation of where we need to walk. Yeah. So it's to fulfill the requirement, the federal requirement at the very least,
Yeah.
establish that safety zone. And I feel like that's the most important area for input signs up, that's the most important spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, you know, it's listed on the website as a no hunting zone. We don't really have a gate or own patroller to go in the woods and like check it all out anyway, so.
Yeah.
It's just another sign on a tree somewhere. Let's be honest. You know, I want to make sure that we're fulfilling our requirements, but at the same time, it's a lot of hanging of signs that, you know.
Yeah, okay, so with, maybe we don't necessarily change the maps.
Yeah, but maybe we establish the federal buffer zone around the school,
Yeah.
and just leave it at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that satisfies the request from the school specifically. That was, you know, one of the few things that they asked in return for the use of their parking lot. So.
Signage for no firearms.
Yeah, to establish the safety zone. Which,
Yeah.
because they've got other concerns besides hunting. They've got just student safety or people like approaching the school under the premise of hunting, but they have malicious intent or something. Yeah, they're giving live shooter drills these days. So they're not screwing around.
Reality, yeah.
Okay.
I think that, we'll just evolve that and make it a little bit and I just want to make sure that we agree on the line. Yeah, that's going to be basically it. It's like tracing the school property line at a set interval. That will be the line that we do establish our safety.
Right, well, then we can overlay it on top of the trails and.
Exactly.
And see, so it sounds like, if you're willing to do that, if you can bring a map back to the next meeting. We can look at it that way, I think, you know, well, depending on whether more people show up, or maybe more discussion around it, but, make a motion at that time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get super fancy. What I'll probably do is blow up that section of the map, use my old school drafting tools, because it's something I can do like immediately. You know, and then if I find a tool where I can polish it up just using Google Maps, I'll just do Google Maps. But I'll probably do the first draft just the hard way, so that I can just scan it in and send it to y'all, and probably before the meeting.
Scan with your cell phone camera.
I just think it's easier to get through the woods in winter to do this, because the snowshoes on, because you're not moving through all the foliage and then all the mud and everything. That's my personal opinion. But
There is a few weeks of stick season in the spring.
Yeah.
But, yeah, your point's well taken.
And I'm always looking for excuses to go in the wood, pairing with a project. So.
Okay. So I think that
Kids
closes,
work.
I think that closes out the question of signage kind of posting. So let's see, forest maintenance, we're still on that. Covered issues from, previous discussion, okay. Marking trails for specific usages, figuring out signs for, specific usages.
I have an open thread with Maxfield about using the Glowforge to do that. I sent him a couple images that I've poached from the internet.
Mhm.
Using similar size like tiles,
Uh-huh.
like round, like round or like squares with rounded corners kind of thing. And I think the idea is to make them small enough where we can attach them to the existing trail signs.
Mhm.
And then just like little tile, like so it's hiking, biking. And just as a it's not to say biking only, but it's a signal that it's like preferred or one way or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I just was hitting up the viability of it. Can we make a whole bunch of these? And he hadn't answered as of yet, so I'll take one again.
Okay,
Same with the school signs for the entry points to the school grounds. I sent them the text that we had discussed last meeting. Has not responded yet. I was giving him a little bit of a buffer around the holidays, but it's time to shake his tree a little bit and see if he's got any information.
okay,
If not, once again, just get it custom printed. It's pretty easy. It's like those no motorized vehicle signs. It's pretty
Yeah.
like take care of like adjust.
okay.
Get it made, get it up, and if we want to make it look nicer later, we can.
Well, let's see what Mexico comes back with and see where we get, where we're at next month. Forest management, I think, sits with Luke. I haven't heard anything from him since, December, since our last meeting. I think all the email threads have everybody on them. So I'd like to know what's happening with that, to put in my letter to the town. I'll see if I can chase him in the next couple of days. Anything else under forest management at the moment? If not, then the next topic is FY26 budget. So let's see. Michelle's notes for. And here, let me. Budget.
I read that email he sent to us, so it seems like we can't be terribly vague with our budget, so that's,
I guess that's fair, all
Yeah.
things considered.
Yeah.
which was less work for us, but now, yeah, it's just not really how it's gonna work, I guess.
Reasonably, I mean, we're asking for money from people's taxes, so.
Right.
Fair enough,
And it is a tough year, so.
yeah. So the questions that they have, and these are reasonable questions. Do you have more specifics about projects in mind and details you could provide about these projects with actual plans in place? Well, not actual plans in place. And I guess it's reasonable if we're asking for budget, probably we should do some legwork beforehand.
Sure.
So trail work we can say is anticipated to be completed by volunteers at this point. And so it really comes down to question number 2, what plans do we have for a $37,000 endowment? Is it restricted? And if so, what are the details? I'm not really aware of any specific restrictions on it. I, my recollection was it was in the neighborhood of $20,000. So if there's, and as they're saying in this email, 37, they may be closer to the books. I think about it.
I think that their number is more up to date, because I remember when I talked about it with Belinda, she said that there was some other earmarked endowment as well. I can't remember the source of it. But
The Borns, did the Borns,
Put a bunch of money in
yeah,
it.
seems like a fine.
and we had $20,000 to begin with.
I thought the 20,000 was essentially from the Borns. TPL was working on it, but I had the impression it was coming from the Borns. Also, it could be, I mean, Kate's understandably a little bit vague about this stuff. She doesn't want to name donors and, have them suddenly getting a whole bunch more requests than they were before.
The $25,000 ARP funds were from that the town donated to the project came back as an endowment, didn't it? Like TPL gave it back to us, was my understanding.
You may be right. I don't remember those details.
Linda Martin will know for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why they're asking here. But if it was 20 or 25,000, if it was, okay, so then maybe the Borns contributed 17,000, which would be 20, gets us 37. I don't think there's any restrictions on it.
Here we go. From Belinda, this was October 30, 2024. Says, so she reported that the committee currently has 37,500 available, 30,000 from TPL, the additional 7,500 from the town. So the 7,500 was the pre-approved
Okay,
funds from the town.
it came back to us and 30,000 from,
30,000 from TPL.
okay.
And then she sent follow-up in her abrupt style. No, 37,500 from TPL.
Okay,
So
perfect.
from
From TPL and I,
From the town
all the rest of it is speculation and unfounded. And
so that's
TPL.
They all lumped together, like Borns gave it to TPL and TPL gave it.
Yeah,
yeah, however they want to characterize it, right?
Yeah.
So that's there, I guess.
Mhm.
It's kind of like the town is like, why are you asking us for money if you've already got a award
Yeah.
test that you haven't touched?
They got a good point.
I think that's fair.
Mhm.
Yeah. Doesn't mean they shouldn't pursue the numbers. In terms of like the bollards at the bridge gate, in the bridge gate conundrum,
Mhm.
I'll start seeing if I can find someone who's on kind of winter break from the construction field that can at least maybe I'll send them some pictures and see if they can give me at least a ballpark of what a project like entail.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best for right now until the snow melts. But it's not a complicated project, so it shouldn't be too hard to get a quote for.
Yeah, I mean, need a backhoe or probably a backhoe to
Yeah.
dig a hole, build a concrete form.
Exactly, concrete pad and then 4 posts set in it.
Mhm.
And a handful of padlocks and some keys. That's pretty much it. But I'm sure there's, some other things, the reinforcing wire.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking the bollards should go down into the ground, some distance. It's got to get
Yeah,
excavated.
it's gotta stop a car. 4-wheel drive car, Jeep,
Tractor.
yeah. But, at some point, there's only so much you can do, if they really want to get across, they'll find a way. But, yeah, I think just sending the message like, you're welcome. The other thing is, do we want to do anything to evolve the parking situation by the bridge there.
Mhm.
Right now, it's really ad hoc. And the jury's still out over whether or not, there's a habitat issue which came up.
Yeah,
Because the proximity to the river.
Yeah, there was some discussion about like why sinuosity never got to it. They said that they couldn't because they said there were
endangered
concerns about
species habitat or something. Yeah,
turtles or whatever.
yeah.
And
Where did they
So-
get that
so let's-
information?
Staying with the budget concept,
yeah,
the the select board's making these reasonable objections that we don't have specific projects, we don't have shovel-ready projects, essentially.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of money. And as we were discussing before, just before we called the meeting to order, we've had this sort of flurry of activity and we've got a lull of energy at the moment.
for a couple months,
So, yeah, I mean, if we don't get the $5,000, if they don't put it in the budget, and we come up with some ideas, as the summer rolls along, I don't think there's any reason why we can't go to the endowment to fund them and just proceed.
Okay, I was hoping we would come to this vision.
You think this also applies for mowing and the plowing as far as coming out of that endowment, or is that? I think that should be.
I think the endowment should be for investments, capital projects, rather than maintenance expenses, in as much as we can. Otherwise, we could say we're using the endowment essentially for tax relief, which would make a few people happy probably, but I don't think it's not.
It's not in the spirit as much of
Yeah.
the BZ endowment.
Yeah.
So we need quotes for mowing.
Yeah, so did I CC everybody on the thread? Michelle was also asking me about the space for the mowing, and she's putting together the bid for, at least for brush hogging for the town.
Great.
So if they came back to us to say that they want to put the mowing into their own budget and they're chasing the numbers, we should use the endowment for capital projects if we want to. Publicity, print communications, website development, maybe they'll fold that in as well. And if they give us $1,000 for public events, publicity and that kind of stuff, that doesn't feel unreasonable to me. I think we might spend it and we might, as I say, if we need money for projects and we get a bunch of energy going to get the projects going, we have money to do it with.
We're able to schedule a speaker or two this year, and we have a speakers fee potentially for them. We didn't really follow that up too far last year.
Yeah. And, could we use the endowment for it? Maybe, or could we ask for donations from people to come and cover the rest with the endowment? I mean, and I think we could get by at $1,000 budget, if the town is going to take care of the mowing and the website.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense in a tough year. Yeah. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
Especially since we're about to go tooth and nail for the school.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm seeing, motion made and passed by 4 nodding heads in the room. So, okay. So I'll, I guess what this comes down to, we could send $1,000 budget back to the select board. Or see what they're coming up with. I guess it really comes down to, let's see what they're coming up with, if they've got website and mowing covered. If they don't, then we need to leave it in. If they do, then we can do the 5,000 ourselves. Okay. Yes, do you guys want to talk about the letter for the town report? We've been here 45 minutes. It could be a record meeting if we just close it out here.
We just constrain the committee to 4 minutes.
So I need to produce this letter. I don't need to bring everybody through it. I don't need to make it, it'll be a public thing.
I'd be more than happy to take a look at it.
Let's adjourn the meeting and, so we don't have to report it all, have everybody get into the weeds with us. And I'm happy to share.
Meeting adjourned.